Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am here today to announce my candidacy for the office of the President of the United States. It was a long thought-out decision, but I feel I'm ready for the position just as the country is ready for a change. My platform can be laid out with these 4 primary points: coffee warming, the energy crisis, hyper-caffeinating the Department of Education, and the war on sleep. We face an imminent crisis in the 21st century. Our coffee has continued to rise in temperature over these past few years, and it's truly an irresponsible trend. By the year 2050, our morning cup of coffee will become too hot to safely drink. This will affect billions of people worldwide, as you can see from this article from the nation's most respected news source, The Onion. We as a nation cannot stand idly by and let this happen. For the sake of our children's mouths and tongues, we must act now. We face tough times in the future. It's taking so much out of our economy, and indeed the pockets of Americans, to get from home to work in the morning. There's a lot of talk about the environment and about rising energy costs. Both must be dealt with. In my administration, we will deal with these issues head-on. I propose the only alternative fuel that is good enough for you. We will introduce the first coffee-powered car made from the coffee bean itself. Sure, some may say that this is impractical, or coffee isn't combustible and can't be used in a combustion engine, or that coffee lacks the strength of steel or aluminum, but I call them quitters. How will we know if those things are true if we don't throw trillions of dollars at projects that may or may not yield a positive result? All I'm saying is that the facts aren't in yet, so let's give it a shot. Our educational system is failing. The U.S. is constantly behind the rest of the developed world in math and the sciences, and this just shouldn't be. What I propose is that we hyper-caffeinate America's teachers. Yes, they smell like coffee and cigarettes already, but they could smell like better coffee. And think of the benefits to students in our public schools if our teachers weren't just quoting from movies like the Dead Poets Society, but rather inspiring young minds with the kind of jitteriness that people get sedated for. One of the biggest problems facing America today is the economy. Having dealt with stagnation these past few years, I think it is far past time that we move things into a new direction. Do we introduce nap time? No. Shorter work days and weeks? No. If there is going to be a mandated minimum wage, then there will be a mandated minimum amount of caffeine consumed before you get to work in the morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will now take some questions.
Mr. Shockman. Mr. Shockman.
Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Mr. Shockman, could you define for us your stance on crime?
Yes, Mark. My stance on criminals in America's penal system is summed up by this phrase: no coffee for you. They don't deserve it, and it's easier to control a prison population if they're all drowsy. Next question, go ahead, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Shockman. Can you detail your position on Social Security?
Of course, Amy. Social Security is important to all Americans. I know that if I'm in a social situation and I don't feel secure, it can be very uncomfortable. I urge people to be more open around people they don't know. Just walk up to someone and start a conversation. It's the best way to make new friends and negate this insecurity. Next question, tall guy in the back.
Thank you, sir. Walt Michaels, PCC News. As recently reported in several tabloids, you've been seen with some of Hollywood's hippest actors. How does that affect your position on health care?
That is a stupid question. Next, Rich.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us who inspired you to make the decision to run for president?
Your mama. Next question, Marcia.
Thank you. Election season has come early, it seems, with many people throwing their hats into the ring. Can you tell us what really sets you apart from the other candidates in the running?
Yes, Marcia. I'm 3 feet tall, have stubby appendages, and a squeaky high-pitched voice. Next question, Diane.
Mr. Shockman, can you tell us how your position as spokesman for New York-based coffee company Shock Coffee relates to your almost entirely coffee-related platform?
Well, look at the time. I really gotta run, but you folks have been great. Really. Give yourselves a hand. Yeah. See you on the campaign trail.